I own a ton of hunting coats, but like, for like normal stuff, I wear a hooded sweatshirt all winter long. 10 below. But I use my heated seats and my heater in here.
There is no fuss. It is swollen and red though, and ouch.
Sorry, buddy.
Freaking bird. Yeah, he got trapped. His feathers got stuck underneath that wire.
It's finally here, deer season 2021, and we're kicking off with the group of guys from Tethrd in North Dakota. Man, what an awesome camp this was. Had nice cabins, great group of guys. Made sure everything was dialed in before we hit the woods, as the next day was opening day of deer season 2021.
My dad into going down there and hunting like an ibex, and then having a campfire with Nugent playing at night. Oh yeah, because that's part of the deal. He sits at the campfire and plays music after your hunting trip. Yeah. I can't convince my dad to go though. Let it try.
There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling coming over me again.
Let's get into our first sit in North Dakota. I guess the good thing about it, the camera's not working. It hadn't been working pretty much, for a while. So pretty much any deer that's been in here, we don't know about it. Which makes me super jacked up, because that means anything could be a surprise. It's got this corn all the way around it. There's corn all the way around it on the other side. Which a lot of these deer are just living in that those cornfields right now. Hopefully we see some deer. If we see a buck, that's awesome. If not, hopefully we just see some deer. Mama doe and little baby are still just sitting here. They walk out in this field and they come back, walk back out, come back. Pretty cool. I really just need a big buck to do the same thing. It'll be good. Unfortunately, the only thing I saw on this hunt was these two deer, a mama doe and a fawn, but no bucks. And that was a similar experience to everyone else in camp. We just weren't seeing bucks on the property. So I got back to my roots and tried my hand on some of the public land surrounding the areas that we had permission to hunt. I found great sign, but I just simply wasn't seeing a whole lot of deer. Found a nice area with trees, which was pretty hard to come by in this part of North Dakota. I saw some deer and even saw this little coyote pup, which was neat to see. I love to see the wildlife in new areas, but I knew I was going to need to make some adjustments. That's pretty. We had these guys, and they told us there was all kinds of people out here, but we haven't seen another truck other than theirs. So I'm not really sure what the deal is on that, but we're probably going to go check out a different spot. There's a lot of different land out here. Public land, it's called plots. Private land open to sportsmen, I think is what it's called. And so we're gonna go check out some more of that. I mean, we may spend more time in the truck this morning than anything, just trying to figure out the different areas that are around here. We haven't really had a chance to go and look at a whole lot of it. So we're gonna try that this morning and See if we can't find something good. I got Jared. Robrand. How do y'all say it in Minnesota?
Robrand.
Robrand?
Rob Rand. No, not Rob Rand. Robrand.
Okay.
But it's spelled Robrand.
Robrand.
Yeah, that's how we go. But you did pretty good with your accent and all that. Yeah.
Robrand. I can see that being how you guys pronounce it. Got my buddy Jared Robrand over here.
You gotta draw out the O.
Oh yeah.
From Minnesota.
Minnesota. We're out here looking at the public land. That we're trying to find stuff that borders the egg.
That's a bit much.
The egg fields.
The agriculture.
Agriculture.
I'm going to say agriculture from now on.
There's probably like some kind of like cult Facebook group called Agriculture with people who are like obsessed with eggs. Agriculture. Jared and I spent the majority of the day scouting on public land, but we wanted to give the private land one more shot before we committed fully to the public land areas around where we were staying at. So we sat one more time on private land, and as luck would have it, we saw a bunch of does. It was pretty much the same experience every single time we sat in a tree on this piece of property, and mostly because it was just hard to hunt. There was limited availability of trees to set up in. Most of it was ag and cattail marshes. While we were still seeing deer, we just simply weren't seeing bucks. If you've ever watched a southern ground hunting video before, you know that I really try hard to adapt to the situations that I'm handed. And even though I was seeing deer, I knew I was going to have to do something different if I wanted to be successful and punch my buck tag in North Dakota on this trip. So I did what I like to do best. I adapted and I rented a car. I didn't rent just any car. I rented a Chevrolet Spark, which was more comparable to something you would find in a girls' college dorm parking lot. I loaded everything in it and started scouting sign and finding new public ground to try to be successful on this hunt. Alright, this morning I decided to just drive around, see what I can find. Look at these different fields, figure out what's planted where, scout pressure. There's a whole bunch of different things that I really need to do in a new place. I'm running out of time, but I just think this is more valuable than going blind to an area I don't know anything about. Just planted in beans on both sides of the road, and maps don't show that. It doesn't have any. Oh my gosh, there's a giant bull elk. Well, he's not a giant, but it's a bull elk. That was cool. It was freaking cool. So anyway, just scouting all this property. There's a lot of land here to work with, and this is just way more valuable to me to make the most of what little time I have and knowing when I'm going to hunt. I don't want to just waste a hunt. Oh my god. I just jumped a giant, huge buck right here. Let's see, he wasn't super spooked. I think my wind actually is good right here. I'm gonna knock an arrow. Try to get up a little bit closer and see if I can see him somewhere. I'm talking about the nicest people ever in North Dakota. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a guy on a four-wheeler right there. He just came by, saw me drive in. Wanted to know if I'd had any luck. Just nice. Really nice people. Having to rethink my game plan a little bit. And it's kind of not frustrating, but it's not what I had in mind. The wind is just terrible, right? It's the wrong direction, and around 8 o'clock it's going to be really the wrong direction, and for that spot where that buck was at anyways. So I'm going to try to circle around. There's this tree line, so that buck, I jumped him in that right there. The wind is going straight there. And so what I'm going to try to do is use this tree line, circle back, and go around it to like this group of trees right here. Circle back around it. I just want to see if anything comes out. I pretty much want to see anything that comes out that tree line, and using that those woods right there, I'd like to find some oaks that are dropping, set up on some good feed sign. And obviously my standard isn't super high right now, so I just want to kill a deer. I'm gonna try to do that tonight, but I'm excited about it. I wish this wind was better though for this spot. It was nice to finally see a buck out here. I've been seeing a lot of does. It's nice to finally see a buck, and try to make something happen tonight. The reason I came all the way to where that buck was at is because I think I bumped him. And if I bumped him twice in one day, I don't see him really getting too terribly much closer in daylight. He may be gone. There's a ditch right here that goes down. It goes back up into the field, and it's that big long finger. Deer enter into a field, the lowest spot, the lowest part of the field, and they use these ditches and these drainages like we use an exit on an interstate. And that thing's right here. I feel like it could be very possible that these deer come up out of that coulee, whether bedded, on the edges of these ridges, and they use this drainage to get back up here. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I am really hoping it works tonight. I do have acorn dropping on this tree right here, so it's definitely a good thing. Get deer coming this way. They're dropping off of that thing like crazy. sure what happened. But a really bad shot, that second shot, the first time, I'm pretty sure I hit him good. But I'm jacked up. That was awesome. I'm nervous about that shot. The last day of this hunt. And that's the first buck I've had in bow range. That was awesome. I just wish my first shot, I don't know what happened on that first shot.
Boogie down at the bar, fiddle tunes and homemade blues, but it always goes too far. Shooting pool, crack a jack, take off now, don't look back, but hey, don't you wanna play?
Pretty excited about this trip. It was definitely like a challenge that I didn't expect. I feel like if I would have been able to hunt this public land the whole time, we would have been able to make something happen on a little bit bigger deer. But with time running out, you just kind of have to do what you got to do sometimes. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. Last day, you just gotta. I'm not the kind of guy that likes to go home empty-handed if I can at all help it. Man, I think the overall storyline of this was so cool. Just overcoming like the kind of obstacles. You know, we were sitting on private land hunting over bait, which I don't have any issue with, but honestly it just wasn't working. This time of year the deer have so much food, a lot of those big bucks just were not coming into those bait piles. Trying to make a shift, you know, and do some last minute stuff and try to, I mean, if you're not getting deer on daylight on cameras over bait piles at all, I felt like I had zero confidence going into every sit. So coming out to public land and trying to make something happen and having the ability to roam around and find something. Obviously I would have rather killed the deer that I jumped yesterday, the one that I was actually hunting in there, but I kind of made the decision, since the trip was, you know, running out, I made the decision to shoot the first buck that I saw, and this guy was the lucky winner. So first deer down for 2021, and hopefully it just goes up from here. It's got to go up from here. I mean, I don't know that you can really go down from here as far as antler size.
Come on, ride this thing. Double down, roll the dice, take off now, don't think twice. Hey, don't you want